Good morning and welcome to Surviving the Diagnosis. It's happened to all of us. I'm Sandy Conkar along with Peggy Mangan. Hi, Peggy.
Good morning, Sandy, and everyone watching us this morning.
Today we're going to, it's Open Discussion Monday. And what we're going to do is expand on our feature story in our newsletter from last week, and that is the impact of learned behavior. And what behavior traits did you learn? This is a very important topic, we feel, because our learned behaviors can actually cause the stress in our body as we get older. Now, it can be also as a young child that we're raised. You do this, you do that, you do what I say, this is the only way to do it, etc. That can cause stress in the body. As you get older, become a young adult or even an older adult, there's certain traits that you do, certain reactions, the way you react to someone's behavior, the way you react to a sound, it brings it back. It triggers that learned belief. Whether it's good or it's bad, it still can trigger it. What the deciding factor is how does it affect yourself in your inner self. I'll just give a quick example. I know that when I was in my 20s, whenever I would hear a glass break, I would, my shoulders would go to my ears and I would tighten up and go, oh my God, who's been hurt? So through all of my work that I've done through the years and my energy work, I've been able to release that sound of breaking glass. Now, that doesn't take away my concern. Hey, has someone been injured or is everybody okay? It's not that, okay, who's been hurt on the intense level. So I've been able to release that sound as a response from my childhood. Smells can create beliefs and even good beliefs. You think about possibly when you come home from school, and I mean, my age, my mom was home, so my mom wasn't working outside the home, so I was fortunate enough that when I got home from school, I had a mom to greet me at the door. And sometimes you smelled dinner cooking, sometimes you smelled cookies cooking or baking. And so smells can also create a learned belief. So cookies could be, the smell of chocolate chip cookies could be a comforting belief that whenever I smell that, it just takes me back there. Or for me, I think it was the smell of squash that was like, oh, tonight I'm not eating, because I didn't like the smell of squash and I still don't like the smell of squash cooking. So it's all about the impact of learned beliefs and how you carry them through your life. So do you have any learned beliefs, Peggy, that you remember from throughout your childhood or your young adulthood? You're on mute. There
Okay,
you go.
here I am. um, yeah, first day of school, whenever I would walk in the school building, you could smell that cleaning fluid that the janitors used. You could smell the chalk, and the paste for some reason just kind of got me geared up for school. Um, and a new year and that sort of thing. Learned belief, as far as I think I have to ponder this one a little bit more because it's going to go in depth a little bit. But yeah, any good smell, any scent that reminds you of someone. My grandma always made apple pie, and when I came over, she had it baking, and then I knew there was ice cream to follow, and it was just an awesome reminder of her love. And for apple pies, and it was a good thing. It was a good thing. Learned belief, as far as on a negative side, we also have those. We go into our history, and we learn very early on what was appropriate or not appropriate according to the family norms, and it could come from generation to generation. I felt, when I was a child, it was children should be seen and not heard. So I think that followed me um, most of my life because I was really a shy kid. And I think just the thought that you should be seen and not heard, don't make noise, don't speak up, and that's a learned belief. I also had an issue with one eye, and my eye would turn out. And when I would look at people, it would be like I'm looking way over to the right. And, they turn around and say, "Who are you looking at?" And especially kids, kids are kind of on the cruel side as far as that goes. I had it corrected when I was 12 years old, but looking people in the eye after that was really a challenge. And that was a learned belief. You don't look people in the eye because your eye isn't looking there. But, and that was a negative learned belief. I've since corrected that as well. So that's just a few.
And those are good ones because these are things that can hinder us in moving forward in our life as we get older. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the things that when we were at the Nashville convention a couple weeks ago, one of the things that was a common topic that people who have gone through diagnosis had expressed to us was, now what do I do? How do I start my life over again? Or how do I start living again? And some of these beliefs can hinder that um, the vision of being able that you can, that it is possible to start over, do what you want to do. Um, I was listening to a TV program over the weekend, and they were talking about when we are when we experience something really traumatic, whether it's a diagnosis, it's an accident, loss of a loved one, it changes us. And what it does, I believe, is it also stops us from what we're doing. And it allows us that time to reflect on what's important in life. It allows us to evaluate what you're doing in life and whether you need to make a change or not. Um, and a lot of times people do make those changes. And as I've said before on the shows, that every experience we have, good or negative or challenging, I'll say, because I want to say that they're really negative because we every experience we have has a lesson in it, good or otherwise. Um, and so when you have something happen and you stop for a minute and you look at what's going on, and you just kind of grasp hold of what's important. And so every time you go to move through this experience and get back to life, get on with your life that you knew it even seconds ago is not the same. It has changed. Your perspective has changed. People, the way they react to certain things have changed, which now changes how you react. Um, so the beliefs that you have from childhood can still hinder you moving forward. Um, so you want to look at those and see why. What is it that they taught me? What is it that they told me? What did I learn from watching someone else that I would like to change? And Peggy, don't you agree that we all have that choice in life to make the change, and if it's not working for us, to change it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially after a diagnosis and then the treatment that you get as a result of the diagnosis. Um, we were going to talk today about just exactly what Sandy is referring to, and how do you move on, and how do you uh, pick up the pieces of your life and go on as a whole, worthwhile person in society. You're giving back. You're contributing more or less. I think that for myself, and that this is just me, um, I opted not to go back into the hospital and resume my career as a working nurse in the hospital, which I worked for many, many years. But I did use my nursing ability, and I created Joy After Cancer because I felt I would like to help people that are coming out the other side. And I call, diagnosis, treatment, and then coming out the other side, um, where you have to pick up the pieces. And I wanted to help people learn how to do that, like I did. I think that using EFT really gave me that new perspective. Up until that, it was just sitting there holding on, waiting for the next shoe to drop. And once you dump all the fear of what you went through, the PTSD clearing, if you will, you can come out the other side and move on. I do a pretty good job with that, except for even 9 years out here, folks. Fear of recurrence is still very, very strong. Get over that and move on. That's what I'm working on these days. Get over it, move on. But that said, you still have to go through it because it's there. It is a strong, I'm sorry to say, part of what you've been through. You notice the change in your body or something going on, and the physicians, immediately want to make sure that it's not something that's coming back. And that's all well and good, but it still causes what I call the heebie-jeebies. And you go from day to day, and as the days go on and the test still hasn't been dictated, then you get worried. But that said, too, when it's all over and done, you pick it up and you go on. You just do. I think that I have learned so much about myself, about other people, about the human experience, the human condition through my experience with cancer. And I feel I'm a more compassionate, dedicated person to the job that I have chosen to do. So there's good coming out of the other end with cancer.
Mhm. Yes, there's an upside and there's a downside to it. So, and as we know, you don't always recognize the upsides. But just like Keith's accident, if it wasn't for his accident, I may not be doing exactly what I'm doing today. It may not have brought you and I together. We may not be doing this Google Hangout to help support caregivers and patients and alike. And so who knows what we would have been doing, but I really feel that if it wasn't for his accident, I wouldn't have looked at my life and said, what I'm doing right now is not as important as what I could be doing. And
Mhm.
and it being fulfilling. That's another thing is you want to look at what is my passion and where can I help others, if that's what you want to do. I mean, we're all a service industry. We're all trying to help others, each other, move through this life and with ease and calm. And so we bring our experiences forward to help those who are going through theirs, and they're in a dark place. They don't know how to move through it or to see the possibility of, a light shining. So, and that's the thing is when we look at the learned beliefs, what we're doing is, um, we're not putting blame on the learned belief, who taught us this or what happened. It's oh well, it's their fault. No, it's not. What it is it's the awareness of where this belief began and how it started manifesting whatever you're experiencing in life, whether it's the fear of changing careers, the fear of trying a career that's out of the norm for you. When I was growing up, I mean, we had the choice. I had the choice of being a secretary or staying home being a mom. Um, what's another woman kind of
Nur-
job?
Nurse.
Nurse. Yeah. I mean, think of the amount of men now that are male nurses. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's phenomenal. But think of their challenges that may have occurred for them of going into that field. I know my son, one of his college friends, is a nurse, and he's an RN. He actually is specializing now, and there's of course there's the needling, or that's a nice way of saying bullying, really, um, and just picking on you for going outside the box. And you can tap on that too. Like, even though they think I'm crazy doing this, this is for me, and I accept that. So you feel good about yourself that you're stepping out of the norm. You're stepping out. Another challenge is stepping out of the family circle. Say all the guys in the family have been firemen, and you want to be a nurse. I mean, so you have that dynamic that you need to work on and release all that negativity and bring in your confidence of stepping forward into what you want to do, because ultimately it's what you want, and your healing and your health is the most important thing. And I really believe that when you are congruent with what you really want and what's true for you, you're going to excel in life because you're doing what you want to do, not what you think somebody else wants you to do or expects of you.
Right, right. And I think it's a very strong urge um, when you come through something that's traumatic. Um, Sandy's son uh, moved all the way across the country, and he's on his own, and he's living his life. And that is a huge thing for someone in a wheelchair to do, but he is totally self-sufficient,
Hmm.
which speaks to wonderful caregiving and parenting. Um, Other people, they change their career totally. When you come out the other end, you think, wow, I can do anything if I got through that. And that is a huge catalyst to changing careers, to writing books. Excuse me. For myself, I am writing a book, and I keep saying that, but I really am. And it's getting closer and closer. But you feel you have something to contribute, whereas when you were younger and wondering what kind of a career am I going to have, or even like myself, I went back to college when my children were school age, and at first I was going to be a social worker. I had a heavy load of psychology courses, and Then all of a sudden, boom, I flipped to nursing, so go figure. But you can do anything you want to. You can. I never in my life thought I was a writer, um, but I am writing a book, so there you have it. You can do anything once you get through. That also helps give you a focus. Uh, the fear of recurrence is strong, and sometimes putting yourself into a project or a new job or writing a book will be just what you need.
Hmm. And I think that journaling is very important. Just
Mm-hmm.
writing down your thoughts and your really inner deep thoughts, because sometimes when you have things to say, others may look at you in astonishment that those words even came out of your mouth. Um,
Right.
and but that's how you feel. And when you do the work with us, and we do use emotional freedom techniques, which is tapping on the meridians of the body, and the meridians are the energy pathways of the body. So like
Right.
veins carry the blood, the energy is carried through the meridians. And there's points on those meridians. There's hundreds of points on the meridians. But through EFT, we tap on certain points. They're either the beginning or the ending points of the meridians. And what you're doing is, as you're tapping on these points, it's stimulating that meridian, and it's helping loosen that block, that learned belief that
Right.
has you stuck.
Right.
And so, if you're familiar with acupuncture, it's similar, only we don't use needles. We just tap on the points, opposed to an acupuncturist putting a needle in. And if, some people go, "Ooh, I don't like needles." Well, one, that's a tappable issue. And and second, they're so fine that 99.9% of the time you don't feel them. And though I will say, the times that you do feel them is when that meridian is really heavily blocked, and it's a good thing, because you really need the work. And that's why sometimes when you're working on a specific topic and in tapping, that a round or two only moves your intensity around the topic, maybe, a point or two. It doesn't seem like a big shift, but in essence it is. But you can tap some more, and then it just kind of keeps chipping away at it. Sometimes you have to be really, really specific, and to get loosen that block in your body as well. And there's a lot of times where, say, you have lower back pain or you have shoulder pain, that's a symptom. That's your body speaking to you and saying, "Hey, something's going on. You need to listen to me." And what that means is, okay, say you have shoulder pain. You you want to get quiet. You want to take in a few deep breaths, and you want to just tune into your shoulder and go, "Okay, what are you trying to tell me?" So it could mean that you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and it's
Right.
time to ask for help. It's time to release some of that. And you'll notice that when you do the tapping, that feeling lightens up. And sometimes it goes away if you get to the right the the core issue. So uh, there there's a way to shift the impact of learned beliefs, excuse me, so you can achieve what you want and desire in your life. It's all reachable. It's just your willingness to do the work that's involved. And sometimes it takes a couple of minutes, and sometimes it can take a few months. Uh, we all have stuff, and it always shows up, and uh, we all have a tendency to go, well, that's no big deal. I'll think about it later, or it's no big deal. I'm not going to worry about it. And when you say those words, when you do that, what you're actually doing is you're ignoring it, you're pushing it down. You're either pushing it down or you're just putting it away for a while. But the thing is that energy of that situation is still in your body. And the next time something similar happens, it triggers that thought. And it's like, well, no, I don't have time for that right now. So I'll deal with it later, or I'll just forget about it. And then it's that onion, layer upon layer upon layer. And then you might get to the point where somebody says, is everything okay? And you start crying, or your eyes start filling up with water. That means that, you have filled yourself up to the top and you can't take anymore.
Mhm.
And that
Mhm.
is really, really, fortunately, this modality that we use, tapping, is phenomenal, and it can bring down that intensity within seconds. It doesn't mean that we're going to clear it in seconds, but we can certainly bring you out of that overwhelm, that over the top feeling, down to at least a comfortable level where you can start breathing and going, okay, I can do something about it, instead of having that intense overwhelm.
Yeah, yeah, Sandy, and what a remarkable tool we have. What a remarkable tool. Um, if we didn't have this tool, the fear of recurrence and all the things that cancer patients go through just be right there near the surface, and a lot of times it creates more dis-ease. It can make you sicker. Once you clear these limiting beliefs, these blocks, and these traumas in your life, and and they're stuck right there in your energy system, and it's just kind of knotted up. You can't, the energy can't get through
Mm.
and do what it's supposed to do, and it's a remarkable, remarkable tool. And that's a good segue to tell you who is maybe have tuned in late that this is Surviving the Diagnosis. I'm Peggy Mangan. My co-host is Sandy Concar, and we're talking about what to do after the treatment, and where do you go, and how do you get on with your life right now. So also want to mention Moira Hutchinson. She is our sponsor, and if anyone wants to become a sponsor, it's very simple. Just contact us at hello@survivingthediagnosis.com, and we will get right back to you. So,
I want to say that I'm going to share our website here, and believing in our message. And these are our sponsors, and that here's Moira's coming up right here on the screen. And you can go to survivingthediagnosis.com, scroll down, and on the slideshow, just click onto her banner, and you'll be able to go right to her website. And uh, so we want to thank her for believing in our message.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Moira.
Yes,
And
thank you.
she's written an awesome book also that I'll mention later.
Okay.
So,
So is
so
there
anyway,
anything that what can we think of here, Peggy, off the cuff, as far as, well, let's see, you just mentioned that you were a nurse before you were diagnosed and went through all the treatments. And then when you came out on the other side and you're deciding, okay, am I going to go back to nursing or am I going to do this? Was there anything that any challenges in making that decision that you might want to share or do some tapping on, or?
yeah, we touched on it last time. Of course, the economic aspect of it.
Mhm.
And I won't go into that too much because we really did work on that, but also the stress involved
Mhm.
in my job. Uh, I was my specialty was OB, and I worked in a high risk area in Detroit, a high risk birthing center in Detroit, and we had um, multiple births at a time. Some days we'd have 20 births, and that kept you hopping. But we also had high risk moms and high risk babies, and you had to be on your toes. You had to be able to go through a shift and just keep on pushing because there they were. You know, in OB, you don't know when they're coming. Most of the time, we had our scheduled procedures, but in full moon or some sort of barometric change, there they'd all be, and we might be short-staffed or whatever. So anyway, that is stressful, very stressful on staff. And I wasn't sure that I wanted to go back into that because of the stress. And I knew that keeping my stress level low was a very strong contribution on my part to keeping me healthy. So I put a lot of things together and decided I didn't need that stress. And I was leaning very heavily toward giving back to other cancer patients and showing them how I got to this point, how I got through the 33 months to a year mark, and then the 5 year mark, and oh my gosh, I'm at the 9 year mark, folks. So it's just, I believe strongly in these energy modalities to help cancer patients get through this.
Right.
So, yeah, I would like to maybe tap on that. It was up in the air for a while because of the money issue, and I needed to help out with the household, but also the stress involved in nursing. It took me a while to. I said, "Oh my God, I'm almost hanging up my stethoscope here," and and that isn't the case. Once you learn all that, it's still there, and I do use it with our business. So, um, but at the time, I was reluctant. I mean, it was a hard job getting that, um, but it's okay now.
Hmm. Yeah. And I would like to let our listeners know that if you have any questions or you have a specific topic that you're challenged with, to feel free and type it in the Q&A section. So if you're watching over on Facebook on our page Surviving the Diagnosis, just click on the live, the orange and white icon that says Live Hangouts. It's on the left-hand column. And when you're watching the live show, there should be right in the bottom an area where you can click on and type in your questions, and we'll answer them and the best we can. And also, again, if there's a specific topic you want to tap on. Uh, so, Peggy, when you say that you had the stress around just do I do this or do I do that? Or do you have stress around what others would think if you walked away from that career? Um,
Yes,
you want to be a little more specific on the stress aspect of it?
right. Yeah, it was stressful. Considering my coworkers, my colleagues that I'd worked with for years, uh, for me to walk away.
Okay. And how in today's world, how does that affect you now, if at all, when you think about walking away, making that decision and walking away from the coworkers and the job?
I'm settled with it now. I wasn't for a while. So
Hmm.
my stress level, 0 to 10 at the time I was making the decisions, was around a 9.
Hmm.
Also, the physical aspect of my job was really a factor as well. It took me several years to regain my total strength, and even now I don't have. Of course, I'm getting older, and that's a good thing. But the strength that I did before the cancer. So it takes a lot of strength to help deliver babies.
Mm-hmm.
You're repositioning, you're lifting legs. You're I don't want to get too graphic, but they need, women need a lot of help, and helping them get positioned to push the baby out. So, and pushing beds, it's stressful on the body job.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, so when you think about that time today, is there anything that stands out to you that still might have a little bit of an attachment with you
Yeah,
around that
I
position?
yeah I truly loved my job. I truly loved helping women give birth and bring new life into the world. It just at one point, my husband wanted to go on a big boat trip, and he was planning. And I said, "Oh no, I love my job. I'm not quitting. I can't. I just love my job." But anyway, you make different arrangements after certain things happen in life, and
Hmm.
so I really miss. I do miss uh, helping women give birth.
Okay, so that's a good one. All right. So on a 0 to 10, um, how's the intensity on I really miss the giving helping women give birth.
It's a 9 when I
Okay.
really think about it.
Yeah. 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 Because that was a time in your life when, it was happy and alive and all that. I mean, I'm saying as far as you really enjoyed it.
Right.
Yeah.
And and
Okay.
and and the pride you had knowing that you knew your job very well.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of pride there.
Mm-hmm. And you say that's a 9 right now?
Yes.
Okay, of missing the job, missing that. Okay. And where do you feel that in your body right now? Where's that 9 reside?
I feel that in the heart chakra, in my heart.
Alrighty. And what would that emotion be around the heart?
Um, Sadness.
Sadness? Okay.
Hmm.
All right. And so, what I'd like to do is invite the listeners to look at if you're struggling about after diagnosis, how to move forward in your life and making certain decisions, just kind of think about all of it and pick one out and see uh, what your intensity is around that, just as we did with Peggy, kind of getting a little bit more specific uh, over the stress of not continuing in that job, and really what is holding that up now is that she really misses helping women give birth, and that's a strong one even for today, that strong sadness that's around that. So and so take your topic, put your 0 to 10 to it, ask yourself, tune into yourself really, and just see where that number resides, that intensity resides. And then if you can put an emotion to that feeling, what would that be? And in Peggy's case, it's in the heart feeling and it's sadness. Okay. And then we'll just go ahead and start tapping. And remember, if you have any questions, be sure to type them in at the Q&A, and we'll ask them when we're done tapping or answer them. Okay.
Right.
So let's start on the karate chop. That's right on the side of the hand. You can use either hand. Okay. And if this is hard to do, you can tap them together. And if that's hard to do, you can tap them on your desk or on your chair, on your leg. just so you're stimulating that point. Okay. So just repeat after me, and
Okay.
same with the audience. Repeat what we're saying, and even though it may not be your topic, but just go ahead and repeat after us. Okay. So even though
Even though
I miss helping women give birth,
I miss helping women give birth,
but I do remember the stress that was involved
I do remember the stress that was involved
and all the physical demands on my body.
and all the physical demands on my body.
I deeply and profoundly accept who I am,
I deeply and profoundly accept who I am,
even though I really miss helping women give birth.
even though I really miss helping women give birth.
It was so taxing physically on my body.
It was so taxing physically on my body.
I deeply and profoundly accept who I am,
I deeply and profoundly accept who I am,
even though I really miss helping women give birth.
even though I really miss helping women give birth.
And it was very demanding on my body.
It was very demanding on my body.
I accept where I am today.
Except where I am today.
On the eyebrow, I really miss helping giving birth.
I really miss helping women giving birth.
On the side of the eye, I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth.
Under the eye, I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth.
Under the nose, I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth.
On the chin point, I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth.
On the collarbone, I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth.
Under the arm, I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth.
And on the top of the head point, it's right in here. I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth.
Okay, and what I'd like you to do is just take in a really deep breath and release it. And on a 0 to 10, where are you now on that I miss helping women give birth?
It's coming down. It's about a 5.
Okay. And is that 5 still in the heart area?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And is the emotion still sadness?
Yes.
Okay. On the eyebrow point, this remainder. No, wait.
Uh,
Nope.
say it again, Sandy. I didn't hear
Yeah.
that.
That's okay. I changed course.
Okay. All right.
I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth.
There was so much joy.
There was so much joy.
I miss that joy.
I miss that joy.
I miss that excitement.
Oh, I miss that excitement. It was exciting.
I miss those happy times.
I miss the happy time.
I know on the collarbone, I was good.
I was a good nurse.
I was an excellent nurse.
I was an excellent nurse.
I really miss using my knowledge in that fashion.
I really miss using my knowledge in that fashion.
On the eyebrow, I really knew my stuff.
And I really knew my stuff.
I really knew my stuff.
I really knew my stuff.
I so enjoyed those happy times.
I so enjoy those happy times.
I really miss helping women give birth.
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 On the collarbone, I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth.
I truly enjoyed those exciting times.
I truly enjoyed those exciting times.
On the top of the head, I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth.
Okay, taking a really deep breath. And see where you're at on that statement. So say, I miss helping women. I really miss helping women give birth.
I really miss helping women give birth has come down to a 2.
Okay. And where
Um,
does and where does that two reside? Is it still in the heart area?
no, it's I haven't used this place before. I'm not going to say anything bad, but it's in my awareness, my consciousness.
Okay.
It's like cognitively, I know it would be difficult for me now, and that just popped in.
Yeah. So it's right here in your forehead, in your frontal
Mm-hmm.
lobe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And what is the emotion around that? Is that still sadness or is it has that shifted?
Oh, it has shifted. It's resolution.
Okay.
Haven't used that one before either.
No. No. Okay. All righty. And resolution means what to you, Peggy? I always like to ask the person what that means to them. I have my own definition, but this isn't about me. So, what does that resolution mean to you?
I'm coming to a place of resolve around doing that work again, um, physically
Hmm.
and stress related. So there's a resolution that yeah, I'm doing what I'm on the path that I'm on right now for a reason,
Hmm.
and I was on that path for a reason,
Hmm.
and I'm as I'm talking it out here, I'm feeling it going down more and more.
Hmm.
Um, 0 to 1.
Okay, and that's a great example because what has happened is you were a two, but it's processing. Okay,
Right,
now I have the belief system that you don't have to go down to a zero if you don't want to. Okay, zero's nice to release the stress, but if your body is saying no, I'm not ready to release it all, then listen to your body. Okay, it's very important. The other thing that, and then we did mention before we started, was that if the like Peggy started out, you started out as a 9, and if you went to a 10 or 11, you wanted to continue to tap, even if you didn't say anything, because you want to bring that intensity. It happens occasionally, depends on the topic, but you want to bring it back down to at least the number that you began with or below. And then you
right,
can, if you choose, then you can go forward and continue. But you never want to, like, oh my gosh, this is getting worse, and stop. Got to bring that back down. That's the whole premise of bringing it down, not keeping it up there.
right.
Um, so are you still like a 0 to 1, Peggy, on it, or a 0 to 2?
Yeah, a 1,
Okay.
0. It's
All
just
right.
so I just talked it down
Yeah.
actually.
Okay. So again, I would say that um, the energy system, it takes about 24 hours for it to recycle itself. So it just kind of rolls around. goes through everything. It's just like the blood in your blood, it goes around, I don't know how many times a day, but it rotates, and so does your energy system. So maybe that's all it needs. But there was something that came up, and we don't need to address it today on the show, but something that came up was the physicality of the job.
Right.
So, and this is just letting the audience know that be aware of other aspects that come up around the topic that you're tapping on. And the physicality was a big one that kept
Exactly.
coming in.
Yeah, it definitely was. You really had to be fit and able to move quickly and bear some weight on your arms and your legs, that sort of thing. So yeah,
Right.
there was some issues with the physical aspect.
Yeah, and so that just tells you there's a little bit more work that needs to be done around the issue of missing, um, helping women give birth.
Right.
But that missing part of it has come down. So when you think back now about making that decision of not going back to that particular job and moving on, making a choice of uh, being an entrepreneur and helping others with surviving cancer. Um, that how are you on that statement that you miss it?
Um, it's gone, and I realize that, like I said, this is my path now, and had fond memories of that job, and it's always with me. I suppose if I had to deliver a baby in a pinch, I could do it because of an emergency. Um, so it's yeah, it's good. It was a fond memory, and what I'm doing now is so valuable to me because
Mm-hmm.
I believe in wholeheartedly in what we are doing, Sandy and I. I just totally believe in it, and I know that with our techniques and our counseling, we can help so many people, caregivers, patients, professional caregivers, people that are out there in the trenches and working in the hospitals. Yeah, we can help you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also want to say that, when you get the word from the doctor, you are pregnant, that's a diagnosis. And with that news, what comes with that news? It's excitement,
Fear,
it's fear, it's, you know, financial
anxiety.
anxiety. So, surviving the diagnosis is whatever that you've been told is going on with you. And it's just that the emotions that we all experience in life, and we can
Yes.
truly move through them much more easily, more calmly, and do it for ourselves and not everybody else. And what I mean by that is that little voice in the back of your head is telling you you can't do that. You're too old. You're a woman. You're a man. You know, it's dangerous. It's boring. It's too hard. I mean, all of those voices, those are other people's opinions. So when you want to close the book on those or close the door on those, we help you do that. So you can move forward and be successful in your life in the way that you want to be successful. And we can also help you begin to actually envision yourself doing something differently and get excited about life again and uh, and move
Yes,
forward.
that is the key. That is the key, folks. Find something that you will be excited about. Look
Right.
forward to what you're doing. And I don't want to say too much about Dr. Sigmund Freud. That was a segue. But this has been my mantra for almost all of my life, especially since I took all those psych classes and had to learn his stuff. Um, the key to happiness, Dr. Freud said, is someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to. And I truly, truly ascribe to those words myself. And I know a lot of people that do, especially people that know me. I say them a lot to my kids, my grandkids. They know it, and it's a good mantra to have. So think about that. Someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
That's a happy person. Yeah, those three things.
Yeah.
So.
Very simple, aren't they?
Mhm. They are. Yeah. So, yeah, that said, I'm seeing we're getting close to our time here.
We are, and I thank you for picking a topic and we could tap on because that's always fun.
Yeah.
So, but
And I thank you because it helped me a lot. It helped me put put that to rest, and that's how it's done, people. You 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 release that angst around that topic. You release it, and that's what I did today with Sandy's help.
yeah,
Uh, and basically, it's gone. It's gone. When I think about it, it's neutral. It doesn't give me a tug in my heart chakra, that I would, ooh, I want to go back and be a nurse again. What was I thinking? Ah, sorry
yeah.
about that. That just popped out.
Well, I mean, because the other thing real quick is that well, back in the 80s, I wanted to be an accountant. I have to laugh about that now. But I mean, I spent 12 years going to school, getting the right job, learning everything I could learn. And I finally, I mean, my vision of success was I have my own office and I could close my door. I
Yeah.
got I got my own office and nobody would come in and see me. And I used to work out in like it was an open room, and I would always go out to the factory and talk to the guys and take the orders and you know just always interacting. We'd go out to the food cart and which is like a food truck and get coffee and at those times I'd have a donut, and just mingle and on breaks and all that. And then when I got my own office and door, I was isolated. I was all by myself. I was in that job for maybe 6 months.
Mm.
And I said, forget this, you know. And so even I guess the reason why I brought that up is even though you have worked years and years and years for something and put your whole heart into it, the moment you find that you're so unhappy in it, it's time to start exploring what where your happiness is. And when that little voice said, "Oh, well, you're not going to make any money doing that," or "You can't do that," so that's where the work starts. That's where the excitement begins for me, because then we can start opening those doors to infinite possibilities and you reaching your goals that are so important for you and not that person that said, oh, you got to be an accountant or you got to be a secretary or you got to be a doctor, you
Or a
know,
nurse.
or a nurse, yeah. It's do what is makes you happy in your life. And like Peggy said earlier, you've just come through, you know, uh, well, I'll say hell, in some aspects of your diagnosis. And you found the strength and the determination to make it, to come through that and be whole. And now you can take all that strength and determination and do it your way. in the, being you in the rest of your life. So
That's a
take that
wonderful
step.
thing.
Take that step. So, which again, I just want to say, if you want to come on the shows, come on over to survivingthediagnosis.com and sign up for the reminders of the show. You'll receive our newsletters each Wednesday, which we kind of, excuse me, that we do discuss a little bit at the beginning of the show, and then we always want to lead into tapping because that's where the fun is, and that's where the work is. Where we really enjoy. Uh, Bringing to you, exposing you to our work. And if you want to be more in a more private or intimate group, we have our membership. Go over to survivingthediagnosis.com/membership, and you'll be able to read all about the benefits, all the things that we have to offer. And we'd love to have you on there. And come join us on our calls on Monday morning. When you sign up for the reminders, click on that you want to be on the calls. You'll receive a link to the live call so you can be on the panel, ask your questions. We can tap on some of your issues. So this is a community, and this community is for you. Uh,
Yes, it
so,
is.
so with that, I will leave you with, our affirmation, I'll say, for the week, and that is that you're not alone and that your dreams and your desires are always within you and within reach. So you can choose to live in freedom and peace. So have a
Yes.
great week, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye. We're here for you.